Welcome to Voyage Daily Tech, the most important news personalized for you every day, supported by Voyage.com.
After listening to today's news, you'll know, first, Elon Musk's $1 trillion bet on Optimus humanoid robots ignites a debate over embodied AI versus software AI in Silicon Valley. We'll analyze why this gamble on physical interaction is a turning point and how it could affect the competitive dynamics of AI development. Second, U.S. Air Force's $235 million funding for JetZero's blended wing plane sparks a new U.S. China race to disrupt aviation with windowless cabins. We'll explore how this radical design could transform air travel and what it means for the future of the U.S. China tech competition. Third, AI assistants are unlocking a neurodiverse workforce superpower, but a disclosure paradox and algorithmic bias threaten to undermine this progress. So we'll discuss why this tech matters for corporate productivity and what it means for AI ethics and inclusive workplace design. Fourth, Tesla's $1 trillion CEO payout contrasts with AI bubble fears and a geopolitical split between US private innovation and China's sovereign AI. In this episode, we'll break down this critical development and what it signals for the future of AI investment and global technology standards. Fifth, Texas sur Roblox, accusing the user-generated content giant of prioritizing profit over child safety and creating a breeding ground for predators. We'll examine how this legal battle may impact the business model of open platforms and what it means for online safety regulation. Elon Musk believes his next product will be the biggest of all time, bigger than cell phones, bigger than anything. And investors just signed off on a $1 trillion pay package that bets he's right. The product isn't a car. It's a humanoid robot named Optimus. A key condition for Musk's massive Payday is to deliver 1 million of these AI bots over the next decade, with a vision for them in our homes and factories. The scale of this bet is staggering. Musk has projected that Optimus could account for 80% of Tesla's future value. The business model is to first use thousands of these robots inside Tesla's own factories, proving their value and refining the technology. The target production cost is around $20,000 a unit, a price point that could make them accessible for both industrial and eventually consumer use. He's not alone in this race. Silicon Valley is gunning hard for humanoids. A Morgan Stanley report predicts Apple could eventually earn $133 billion a year from robots. Foxconn is already deploying them. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Many robotics experts are rolling their eyes. They argue there's little practical reason for a robot to have legs when wheels are far more efficient. We're seeing experts correctly point out that for a flat, predictable factory floor, wheels are cheaper and more stable, while at the same time, Tesla is taking a completely different path. After all, our entire world, our stairs, our curbs, our homes is built for humans. A legged robot doesn't need a special environment. It can, in theory, go anywhere a person can. It's a strategic gamble on a true general-purpose robot. One scientist even put it bluntly, a robot doesn't need a head. This is where the situation takes a more complex turn. Musk believes the robot's body, its hands, its head with all its senses, are critical for developing true artificial intelligence. This is a concept called embodied AI. Unlike an AI that just learns from text and images online, an embodied AI learns by physically interacting with the world, touching things, moving around obstacles, understanding cause and effect in real time. This physical data is something software-only companies like OpenAI just don't have. One highly publicized home robot, the Neo, which cost $20,000, was recently reported to be controlled by a person wearing a virtual reality headset. Now, this might sound like a failure, but this could actually be a deliberate strategy. It's what some in the industry call a telepresence Trojan horse. The idea is to get the robots out into the world, performing useful tasks with a human operator, while the robot's AI is secretly learning from every single action. This allows companies to collect massive amounts of real-world training data and even generate revenue while the autonomous brain is still being perfected. The core conflict is vision versus reality. While Boston Dynamics' Atlas robot captivates millions on YouTube with backflips, many experts question the fundamental human shape, yet the momentum is undeniable. And this has huge geopolitical implications. The reason Foxconn is deploying robots in the US is part of a larger trend. If humanoid robots become effective, they could enable a massive reshoring of manufacturing back to high-wage countries, completely reshaping global supply chains. Even OpenAI's Sam Altman, who has public disagreements with Musk, says the world isn't ready for humanoids, while admitting their arrival is an incoming moment. The key players all seem to agree on one thing. The robots are on their way, and Elon Musk now has the power, the influence, and the cash to make it happen. Speaking of ambitious bets on future tech, another startup was just handed $235 million from the United States Air Force to build a radical new type of passenger plane that looks like it's straight out of a science fiction movie. Now, you might wonder why the Air Force is bankrolling a passenger plane. So the thing is, this is a classic disruption playbook. Startups like JetZero are using defense contracts as a financial bridge to enter the notoriously difficult commercial airline market. The military gets to test game-changing technology for its own needs, like tankers and cargo planes, and the company gets the funding it needs to survive. It's the exact same strategy SpaceX used. The design is called a blended wing body, where the wings and fuselage are a single, seamless structure. It's a concept that has been called the holy grail of aviation for 100 years, with NASA research suggesting it could slash fuel burn by up to 50%. But living inside a giant wing comes with a twist: the windowless cabin. Because of the shape, most passengers won't have a window seat. To solve this, designers are exploring everything from high-definition virtual windows to entirely new social cabin layouts with conference pods and lounge areas. The company is JetZero, and they've partnered with giants like Northrop Grumman. United Airlines has already secured a path to order up to 200 of their new planes. JetZero is now planning to fly a full-size demonstrator as early as 2027, but this is a race. A rival startup, Outbound Aerospace, went from a clean sheet design to flying its own prototype in just 9 months, a process that normally takes major players like Boeing and Airbus 5 to 10 years. However, if you zoom out, you'll see another layer of strategy at play. This isn't just a race between startups, it's becoming a new front in the U.S. China tech rivalry. China's state-owned aerospace manufacturer, Comac, is also known to be developing its own blended wing concepts. The nation that masters this technology first could leapfrog the entire existing generation of airliners. Interestingly enough, one analyst is pouring cold water on the hype, saying the money airlines are risking right now is just change down the back of the sofa. He calls it a green halo effect, suggesting it's more about advertising new thinking than a real commitment. This skepticism is rooted in history. The first blended wing aircraft crashed on its maiden flight in 1924. And when a top designer at Boeing once proposed a similar idea, insiders said the Inquisition came down from Seattle to put a stop to this heresy. The resistance to that heresy is a classic case of the innovator's dilemma. Boeing and NASA actually proved the design worked with their X-48 research drone, but the technology was shelved because it threatened their entire business model. Their factories, their supply chains, everything is optimized for building traditional tube and wing planes. A blended wing body would require a complete and colossally expensive overhaul. On top of that, there's an even bigger obstacle, the regulatory nightmare. Building a pressurized, non-cylindrical fuselage is a monumental engineering challenge, but getting it certified by the FAA is another thing entirely. There are no existing rules for this kind of airframe, meaning it would fall under special conditions that could take years and hundreds of millions of dollars to navigate. That regulatory wall could be the great filter that stops this technology, no matter how good it is. The battle lines are drawn. It's a new generation of startups fueled by what one expert calls a fever among the venture capitalists and tech bros against the institutional resistance of an industry that has fought this exact change for a century. We were just talking about breakthroughs in hardware that could reshape industries. Now let's shift to the software side, where AI is unlocking a superpower in the workforce. Let's start with a single statistic that might just change your entire perspective on corporate productivity. Some companies are generating nearly 1/5 higher revenue, and it's because they're prioritizing a workforce that has been historically overlooked. We're talking about neurodiverse professionals, individuals with ADHD, autism, and dyslexia. And it turns out their unique skills like hyperfocus and creativity are a corporate superpower. And the secret weapon unlocking this potential, believe it or not, it's artificial intelligence. A recent UK government study found that neurodiverse workers were 25% more satisfied with AI assistance than their neurotypical colleagues. For many, these tools are leveling a playing field that was never designed for them. One senior director with ADHD, Tara Dazau, went on the record with a statement that reveals the daily struggle. She said, "I've white-knuckled my way through the business world." That term, white-knuckling, points to a hidden economic cost. Many neurodivergent professionals spend a huge amount of cognitive energy on masking, suppressing their natural behaviors to fit in. This constant effort leads to burnout and lost productivity. So when a tool can reduce that burden, the return on investment isn't just about efficiency, it's about unlocking innovation that was previously being spent just to cope. AI agents that take notes, manage schedules, and handle interruptions are changing everything. Her diagnosis, she said, felt like somebody turned on the light in a very, very dark room. But that's not the whole picture. Experts warn that AI algorithms can be taught to associate neurodivergence with negativity, creating unconscious bias. Now, get this. This bias often happens due to what some are calling a neurodiverse data desert. If an AI is trained on data from a world that has historically misunderstood these conditions, the AI won't have enough examples of neurodivergent communication styles to learn from. It's a classic garbage in, garbage out problem, and developers are now racing to ethically build new, more representative data sets. There are also major risks around privacy. This privacy risk presents a fascinating duality that experts are calling the disclosure paradox. If a company offers an AI tool specifically for neurodivergent employees, using that tool could implicitly force someone to disclose their condition. The solution many are pushing for is to provide these tools universally to all employees. That way, it becomes a stealth accommodation, protecting privacy and aligning with legal frameworks like the Americans with Disabilities Act. And this reveals the core conflict. The race is on to implement AI, but doing it wrong could be disastrous. Yet, the data shows that getting it right pays off massively. One study found that companies investing the most in AI ethics and guardrails were 1.6 times more likely to see at least double their return on investment. For employees who have been fighting to stay focused, the impact is undeniable. As Dazau put it, being able to outsource a distracting request to an AI while staying on task has been, in her words, a godsend. That discussion on AI ethics and productivity brings us right to the staggering amounts of money and power fueling the AI revolution. The richest man in the world is about to get a lot richer. Tesla shareholders just approved a nearly $1 trillion pay package for CEO Elon Musk. But what's really sparking a huge debate in the corporate world is the structure of this moonshot plan. It's not a lump sum. It's broken into 12 parts. Musk only gets paid as Tesla hits incredibly ambitious goals, like growing its market value to a staggering $8.5 trillion and delivering 20 million vehicles a year. It begs the question, does this incentivize genuine innovation, or does it encourage hyping up unproven technology just to hit bonus targets? The vote passed with 75% support. It will increase Musk's ownership from 13% to 25%, giving him significantly more voting power. One milestone for this payout is the delivery of 1 million Optimus humanoid robots, which Musk claims will, quote, eliminate poverty and be bigger than cell phones, bigger than anything. Now, a claim like eliminating poverty is pure hyperbole, but behind it is an economic model that has investors genuinely excited. These aren't the simple factory robots we've known for decades. These are general purpose humanoids, and their costs are plummeting. Just last year, a unit might cost up to $250,000. Now, some models are being priced as low as $16,000. Goldman Sachs projects this could be a $38 billion market by 2035. The robots are not currently available on the market. But while one tech giant celebrates, the broader AI sector is facing a reckoning. Stocks like Nvidia and Microsoft are sliding as fears over elevated valuations rattle the market. This is playing out in Washington. After OpenAI's CFO suggested the company was seeking a government backstop to fund its investments, President Trump's AI advisor, David Sachs, publicly declared there will be, quote, no federal bailout for AI. The trigger word backstop sounded like too big to fail, and that's precisely what Sachs rejected. This debate over a bailout is crucial because it highlights a massive geopolitical fork in the road for artificial intelligence. When we place the US private sector-led model alongside the sovereign AI initiatives in countries like China, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia, the contradiction becomes clear. While US private AI investment hit $67 billion last year, China's government is on track to spend $56 billion on its own by 2025. It's a global race for AI dominance. The CFO quickly walked back her comments, and Sam Altman put a fine point on it. OpenAI does not have or want government guarantees if they get it wrong. That's on them. The numbers here are staggering. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman projects the company will bring in over $20 billion in revenue this year and grow to hundreds of billions by 2030. Yet the company has signed infrastructure deals worth more than $1.4 trillion. This decision to spend now brings both the potential for massive future rewards and comes with the inherent risk of creating a compute infrastructure bubble. That $1.4 trillion figure represents massive long-term deals, like a reported $300 billion deal with Oracle. The spending is happening now, but the massive revenue is still a projection, drawing comparisons to the dot-com bubble. The fear is that the AI industry is building an infrastructure bubble, spending trillions on a bet that demand will eventually catch up. Away from the turmoil of tech stocks, a different kind of deal is making waves. President Donald Trump has announced agreements with Eli, Lilly, and Novo Nordisk to drastically cut the prices of their popular obesity drugs. The deals also mean Medicare will cover these GLP-1 drugs for obesity for the first time ever, starting in mid-2026. For patients, this means the monthly cost for drugs with list prices as high as $1,350 could plummet to a range of $50 to $350. While giants like Tesla and OpenAI grapple with trillion-dollar valuations, another tech titan is facing a battle on a very different front: the safety of its youngest users. Texas has just accused one of the world's biggest gaming platforms of prioritizing pixel pedophiles and corporate profit over the safety of children. To understand this lawsuit, you have to know that Roblox is fundamentally different from tightly controlled gaming platforms like Nintendo or Apple Arcade. Unlike those walled gardens, Roblox is built on a user-generated content, or UGC, model. This means almost everything on the platform is created by its users, not the company. This fosters incredible creativity, but it also creates a massive challenge for safety. In a bombshell lawsuit, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing Roblox, calling the platform a breeding ground for predators and accusing it of flagrantly ignoring safety laws. We're talking about a platform with tens of millions of daily active users, many of them children, and the numbers here are central to the case. Research shows that as of 2024, a full 40% of Roblox's users were under the age of 13. This is the core of the problem. The very business model that makes Roblox so successful, letting anyone create and publish games, is also what makes it so difficult to police. Roblox fired back, calling the lawsuit disappointing and based on sensationalized claims, stating it shares a commitment to keeping children safe online. And, the company does have systems in place. Roblox employs an AI system called Sentinel that analyzes billions of messages every day, and it has around 3,000 human moderators trying to catch what the AI misses. It's a constant technological arms race against predators who are always finding new ways to get around the filters. But then you have the company's own chief executive, Dave Baszucki, who previously told the BBC on this very topic that parents who are uncomfortable with their children playing games on the platform should not let them use it. That statement is critical because it attempts to shift the legal and ethical responsibility from the platform to the parents. It brings up the concept of a company's duty of care, especially when its product is so heavily marketed to children. As a comparison, the tobacco and social media industries have faced huge legal trouble for trying to use a similar defense. This isn't an isolated incident. The central conflict is a gaming giant marketed to families now facing a legal onslaught. Texas joins Kentucky and Louisiana, which have also sued Roblox over potential harms. The pressure is escalating globally. The platform has been banned entirely in Turkey over concerns about child exploitation. And it came under scrutiny in Singapore after a self-radicalized teenager joined ISIS-themed servers on Roblox. What really brought this to a head is the challenge a global platform faces when dealing with a patchwork of different laws and cultural definitions of child safety. In the US, the main concern is predators. In Turkey, it was sexual content. In Singapore, it was radicalization. This makes a single universal safety standard almost impossible. What started as an online platform for kids to play and build games has now become a legal battleground, with governments accusing the company of enabling abuse and Roblox fighting for its reputation on a global scale.
That's it for today on Voyage Daily Tech. Follow, share, and stay tuned for daily updates coming your way tomorrow.